Welcome to another night in the NBA. This is your 10-minute recap of the last night of NBA hoops, and there were 6 games on the night, but I wanted to start with what I believe is the main topic, and that is DeAndre Ayton, who we just have to talk about at this point. I know that the Blazers didn't win, they lost to the Knicks yesterday, but that's not the important part because DeAndre Ayton looks like the player that was drafted number 1 overall and the guy that people hoped he could be, because he has just been dominant as of late, and it continued last night because against the Knicks he had 31 points, 14 rebounds, and shot 57% from the field. But it's not just this one game. We go over his last 4 games because he's really picked it up over the last 4. He's been good since the All-Star break, but the last 4 have been spectacular. He's averaged 29 points, 17 rebounds, a steal, a block, and shot 61% from the field and 50% from deep. He has been dominant. He has easily looked like the best player on the Blazers over this stretch, which yes, may not say a lot considering the current Blazers roster, but DeAndre Ayton has been a monster and has been completely unstoppable down low. It doesn't matter who they're playing against because Isaiah Hartenstein is a very good interior defender, but Ayton still went off. Atlanta, that's not as good. You got Clint Capella, Bruno Fernando, but Boston, he did it against them as well. They have, Porzingis down low, and then Toronto is throwing Jakob Poeltl and guys like that. So it hasn't been just cupcake defenders on Ayton either. He's just really picked it up and has looked almost impossible to stop, and it has led to a couple wins because in that stretch they've won 2 out of those 4, and just looking at their season as a whole, that's way better than they've been the rest of the year. So picking up a couple wins in that stretch looks really good for the team and really good for DeAndre Ayton, who looks like a fantastic player. And if this is going to be what he continues to be, then the trade for them was a massive win because yes, they got rid of Damian Lillard, but if you get a guy who can give you 25 plus and like 12 or 13 rebounds a game, that's massive. It's just so important to have a player like that. If he's going to play at this level, he's going to be like a top 5 center in the league. He's just been dominant. And he's been really good defensively as well. You're kind of seeing what we saw at Arizona when he was in college, where he can guard multiple positions. He can be all over the place, just wreaking havoc. And on offense is just a efficient, around the rim guy with a little bit of mid-range. And it's looked really good. Him and Anthony Simons have looked very, very impressive as a duo. And yes, Jeremy Grant has missed a couple of these games, but Scoot Henderson is back. So there's Scoot there, there's Simons there, and the guards are thriving alongside DeAndre Ayton, who's really playing well right now. And I think that they should be really happy about this because it means that their future could be a lot brighter than maybe people expected, because for most of the season DeAndre Ayton just hasn't been great. He's been okay. He's been like an average to maybe slightly below average starting center, but he just wasn't a guy that was worthy of a number 1 pick, which he was. But now he looks like that guy. Should he have went over Luka Doncic? The answer to that one is still no. But DeAndre Ayton right now looks like a monster on both ends of the floor, and it's just something that needs to be talked about because I feel like it's gonna probably go under the radar because he's on Portland. But DeAndre Ayton right now is super impressive and looks like a number 1 overall pick. But now let's get into some other action from around the NBA. So in other action around the NBA, we did have 5 other games on the night. Like I said, 6 in total. Let's go through each of them and just try to get an idea of what happened on this night of NBA hoops. We'll start off with Boston versus Phoenix, and the Celtics take this one despite no Kristaps Porzingis, 127-112. Jaylen Brown has been phenomenal since the All-Star break. I know I wanted to talk about Ayton, but Jaylen Brown could have been the main topic himself because he's been so good lately. 37 points on 61% from the field. Jason Tatum at 26 and 24 from Al Horford. A kind of resurgent game from the big man who looked really good. For Phoenix, they were led in scoring by Devin Booker with 23, but as a team, they don't play poorly. 37 46% from three, sorry, and 47.5% from the field. Like, it wasn't an inefficient game from Phoenix, but Boston is just too good. Nobody can keep up with them, it feels like, except for Denver. Anyone else but Denver, good luck against Boston, but Boston picks up the win. The Bucks get a home win. They needed a win badly against the 76ers, which they gave us a little scare because I believe the Sixers were up at the half by like 8 points, and they were up 3 going into the fourth quarter, but the Bucks own the fourth quarter and win 114-105, 32-11 from Giannis, 17 from Dame, and 19 from Brook Lopez. This is a Sixers team that had failed to score 80 points in 2 straight games. So if the Bucks had lost to them at home, it would have been, all right, time to set off the siren and maybe give up the white flag for the season. This season would be over because they had been really bad in the 4 road games leading up to this. They barely beat the Clippers without Paul George and Kawhi, got blown out by the Warriors and the Kings, and they lost to the Lakers without LeBron. So it wasn't an impressive road stretch for the Bucks, but they get this win at home that they badly needed. The Rockets, in their second game without Alperen Şengün, pick up a dominant win against the Washington Wizards, 135-119, thanks to 37 from Jalen Green. Don't give up on Jalen yet. He still has a ton of potential. He's a very high-level scorer. He gets a lot of disrespect, but Jalen Green still is going to be a very good player in this league, and the scoring is still very obviously a high-level talent for him. 27 for Fred VanVleet and 20, 11, and 4 from Amen Thompson, who shoots 75% from the field. A lot of people wondered if Amen and Jalen Green could play together, but they did tonight, and it looked very good. 24-9 from Denny Avdia in the loss. Jordan Poole goes for 25 on 53% shooting, has been a lot better coming off the bench than he was as a starter. Then we move into Clippers versus Bulls. No James Harden in this one, but Kawhi picked up the slack. 28 for Paul George, 27 for Kawhi. Kawhi shoots 71% from the field, and Paul George shoots 92%. Great performance from their 2 top guys, and they needed it because the Clippers have been kind of up and down for the past month, so to get wins here is important, and the Bulls just don't get a super high scoring affair from anybody, led in scoring by DeMar DeRozan, who had 21 on just 37.5% from the field. Then we get into the last game of the night, which is Thunder versus Mavs. No Luka Doncic, but it was still a close game because of how good Kyrie was, but the Thunder do win 126-119, 31 for SGA, 27 for J-Dub. A better Josh Giddey game than usual, 18 points and 5 assists. For Dallas, Kyrie goes for 36 on 67% from the field, as well as 12 assists. 23 for Tim Hardaway Jr., 19 and 15 for Daniel Gafford, who has been awesome over the past couple weeks. Did miss a shot, so that streak came to an end, but still really impressive. But the Thunder win, but those are the games for the night. That'll do it for this night in the NBA. Another night in the NBA.